there's no consistency when it comes to the narcissist mother. Let's say you're in a custody battle and you're the father. The narcissist mother will do everything she can to make sure she breaks all your boundaries. Consistency doesn't even exist when it comes to the narcissist. The narcissist mother, let's say the mother and the father live in two different locations, and the mother decides to move from her old location. She will not share it with the father. The father would have to go to court and fight like hell just to get the address. So when their kids is with the mother, the father has no idea where the hell his kids are at. The father has to fight for basic rights. The father has to speak up and go to court, which costs money and time. But of course, the father would do whatever it takes to make sure that the kids are safe and the kids are okay when their kids is with the mother. In this case, the narcissist mother. She will deny the father physical address. And so that means the father doesn't know where his kids are located, but at the same time, the mother knows the father's address. So if something were to happen or there was some kind of emergency, the mother knows how to get to the father's address. The mother can call the cops if she needs to, if there's any kind of an emergency. Well, the father obviously doesn't have access to the mother's address. So when their kids is with the mom, if there was some kind of emergency, he wouldn't even know the address to give to the police, even if it was to do something as simple as a welfare check, because the mother's not answering the phone and it's designed that way. Let's say the father brings it up to the court. Hey, look, judge, so and so will not give me her address just in case something were to happen, but she has my address. And let's just go ahead and go further. And the judge says, hey, look, Miss So and so, I need you to provide the address to the court and also provide it to your kid's father, just like you have his address. Now, let's say a year goes by and she still hasn't furnished the court nor the father with her new location. This is what I mean by the narcissist. The narcissist will push boundaries. The narcissist hates chaos. I'm sorry. The narcissist hates order. They love chaos. They love dysfunction. As a matter of fact, they operate in it. This is where they get their superpower from. They love to do whatever the hell they want to do, and they're rarely held accountable. So because the father couldn't get the mother to uphold the court's order, the father had to go back to court because the mother only had so many days out of the month and specific days where the mother could have the children and then the father can have the children on some other days. Well, because the mother would not give her address, her new address to the father nor the court, the father had to go back to court and let the judge know whatever order you gave her, she did not uphold. As a matter of fact, she kept the kids 3 extra days than what she was supposed to keep them because you guys had obviously no control over her. So the father had to do everything he could to hold her feet to the fire. Again, there was no way that the father could retrieve his children unless he had her physical address, let alone to give the new address to the police officers so that they could do a welfare check at minimum. Now, had the mother abide by the rules, the court order, right? She's only supposed to have the kids for so many days out of the month. Had she abided by that, right, which is a schedule, and when you have a schedule, when you have an order to follow, it brings order. It doesn't bring chaos. So, because the mother kept the children for 3 extra days, the father couldn't schedule things like he would had she followed the order. A few days before school had started, because it started a new year, usually when the children are with the father, they go school shopping, they get new shoes, new clothes. They couldn't even do that. The father couldn't do that because the mother kept them for 3 extra days. And the mother knew that. And see, the narcissist mother, they know at the end of the day, it really affects the children, not really the other parent. It does, but it really hurts the children because the children, on one end, when it comes to the father, they see order, they don't see chaos. The father watches the way he moves because the father knows the kids are learning by what they see, not necessarily what we always say, but also, most importantly, by what we do. So they're split, right? Okay, should I follow what my mother's doing or should I follow what my father's doing? So there's chaos right there. It's also important, since we're on the topic of order and rules, for instance, when it comes to the kids, you want them to go to bed at a certain time, especially on a weekday, right? You want them to get up at a certain time on the weekday. You want them to eat breakfast at a certain time. You want them to eat dinner at a certain time. There's a certain time for them to do homework. There's a certain allotted time where they can watch TV. You give them order. Order is intelligence to me. Order is what brings about change and it makes you better when you have order. Chaos is dysfunctional to me. Chaos is very hard to strategically operate in. It's very hard to get things done when you're chaotic and you have no order to your life. So, to me, a good parent will bring order to a kid's life, structure, strategically. So, bottom line is, she ultimately had to give up the address and give it to the courts. The judge was like, what can I do? What else can I do? In other words, the judge already gave the father sole legal and sole physical custody. He was like, what else do you want me to do? I can't give you anything more than what I've gave you as the father. I already gave you sole physical, I already gave you sole legal custody. In other words, he was like, look, I can't make her be a mother. And I'm quite sure the father was like, damn. He beat the hell out of her And that's how you beat the narcissist. You have to hold their feet to the fire. Don't give them any wiggle room. Hold their feet to the fire. And that's what you do. You take their asses to court and you fight. They don't want order, especially when it comes to your kids. You have to bring order to your kids. They expect the black man not to go to court, not to fight for what's right. So we must do it as black men. Bring order to your life and to your children's life. Do your best. And what's so funny is the narcissistic mother had an attorney. The father didn't. The father didn't have an attorney, but the mother did. This is what happens when you stand on what's right. Order. The opposite of order is chaos, dysfunction. And I believe the father should represent order. That's what the father represents, anyways. A husband, a father represents order. So we must bring the order. Fight like hell, gentlemen. And when you're dealing with a narcissist, you must bring order. You must have order. And order will beat chaos every time. This is Mike Chevalier, keeping it simple and precise.